To anybody watching this who's a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, the words I'm about to say, I mean with every fiber of my being. I'm not being a smartass. I'm not being facetious. I'm not making fun of you. I am being 100% sincere here. I am truly sorry for what you guys are having to endure. And I'm not even talking about the on-field product. I mean, we already know it's been almost 13 months since that Indianapolis win in week 1 of the 2020 regular season. May as well have been a lifetime ago with the way shit's gone down. Hell, speaking of things that were a lifetime ago, it's hard to believe that Saxonville was only 4 years ago. This franchise was literally a half away from going to the Super Bowl for the first time. That defense looked like it was destined for great things. Now, I think only one member of Saxonville is even still in the organization, and that's Miles Jack. Your franchise doesn't deserve this. This fan base deserves far better than what you're getting. And as I said, I'm not even talking about on-field. I'm talking about all the garbage that's gone down since that slimy dirtbag Urban Meyer was hired. I think we all knew coming in that the best case scenario for Urban Meyer would be that he'd wind up being a Nick Saban, a coach that kept his mouth shut, kept his nose clean, kept out of the shitstorm. Things didn't work out, and he'd leave and go back to the college game. I think that was the best case scenario because the track record of college coaches not making it in the NFL is pretty strong. I mean, yeah, you've had a couple. You've had Jimmy Johnson, who won a national title at Miami and also won a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys. You had Jim Caldwell, who had, didn't exactly tear it up in a college game at Wake Forest, but did some solid things in the NFL with the Lions and Colts. Most recently, Cliff Kingsbury, who really seems to have the Arizona Cardinals playing at a high level, despite the fact that he too was mediocre in the college game. But as I said, for every Jimmy Johnson, there are a dozen Steve Spurriers, there are a dozen Lou Holtzes and Nick Sabans. Coaches that, we're talking iconic coaches, we're talking Hall of Famers that built programs or built programs back up that bombed miserably. John McKay was a great coach in the college game, God rest his soul. He took over a Buccaneer expansion franchise that won 23, 24 straight losses without winning a game. It's a hard jump to the NFL, guys. It really is. And I didn't think Urban was that guy to make it happen. Yet, deep down, I think we all knew. That this was a runaway train that was destined to go off the fucking rails at any moment. If he could have got through one season without completely making a fiasco of things, I think it would have been a miracle. He didn't. In fact, he stirred shit up almost from the moment he was hired, bringing in Chris Doyle. Anybody with a show of hands actually think that was a good idea after how Chris Doyle lost his job at Iowa, the shit that cost him to lose it there? That's a great idea, bringing that guy in who had basically been ostracized from football, and for very good reason. But Urban thought it was a great idea to bring this clown in. Tim Tebow, look, I'm not going to shit on Tim Tebow. I think Tim Tebow is as decent of a human being as there is in professional sports. But don't think that didn't stain even further Meyer's pro start. It did. It screamed of nepotism. It screamed of bullshit. Do I think that? You know what? I mean, I look at it as Meyer throwing a bone to his old college quarterback, making him try to earn his way back into the NFL. But I also can understand why the perspective is what it is, that this was a bullshit move. And that didn't work out. Before the first game of the regular season even started, we had two major calamities on our hands under Urban Meyer's watch. Then news broke from Jason La Canfora that this was a mess behind the scenes, that he was openly feuding with coaches, that there's bullshit going on between him behind the scenes with the ownership, that this was not a good situation, and that players were already starting to tune him out before they even played a single fucking game in the regular season. Things were already so far headed south of the border that it wasn't even funny. Now this. Following their 24-21 loss to Cincinnati on Thursday, instead of going back to Jacksonville and looking at film, watching tapes, figuring out how he can finally find a solution and get a win on the board for the Jaguar faithful, and trying to figure out what he's done wrong and rectifying that, he stayed back in Ohio under the excuse that he was going to see his grandkids. Now listen, I'm a family guy as much as the next dude. Okay, I can appreciate and respect that if that's actually what he was doing. Yet, even there, I can see the criticism. You don't see Robert Salah doing this shit. You don't see David Colley doing this. You don't see any of the other rookie coaches doing this. But St. Urban feels he's above it. So he's going to stay back and see his grandkids. Didn't you have, I don't know, a couple days before the game that you could have done that shit? And again, I'm not berating the guy for that. But it turned out that wasn't even exactly what he was doing. We all saw the videos by now. Him in his own bar in Columbus with some 23-year-old girl grinding up against him. And then Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk on their show talking about that they had videos of him sticking his finger up the girl's asshole. You know, playing fucking finger hockey with her taint. This is a 56-year-old fucking man. This isn't a 20-year-old child. This is a coach of a National Football League team who, instead of studying film and doing his fucking job and trying to give the Jaguars something to believe in, trying to figure out what's causing Trevor Lawrence to throw more interceptions through 4 games than he ever threw at Clemson, he's in there playing grab ass with some girl that's young enough to be his grandchild. On top of all that, though, and I know some people will say, you know what, he's a grown man, let him go to the bar. I don't have a problem with that. I don't. Now, granted, what I'm about to say, you don't see these players on video fiddling somebody's bunghole. But yeah, these athletes go to the bars after the game. They don't live on the football field. They don't live in the locker room, nor should they. They're grown-ass adults. But what bothers me is, in typical Urban Meyer fashion, when confronted with this, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, I fucked up, I'm sorry, let me make it right, he backpedaled. Just like he did at Ohio State with Zach Smith, just like he did at Florida when it was a borderline version of fucking Animal House there. May I mention Aaron Hernandez, amongst other things. This man has never taken accountability in his life. When shit gets tough, he points the fingers in 50 different directions instead of at his own self. And then it really gets tough, he skips out the door claiming health issues. He will not take accountability. And word came out yesterday that he canceled a team meeting where he was going to speak to everybody like a fucking man and address this. He canceled it because he was afraid. Met with people, positions, I think, individually, some horse shit like that. This man did not even have the balls to look at his team in the eye and say, you know what, let me make this right. I fucked up. I put myself in a bad spot. I'm going to make it right. Instead, he backpedaled. He took the pussy way out. Oh, he put word out today, though. He did a public meeting today when shit hit the fan that found out he was being a wimp. He was being a backboneless fool. Yeah, he had a full team meeting today and said, let me re-earn your trust. Guess what, dude? It's gone. It ain't never coming back. These dudes don't trust you, nor should they. And frankly, if I'm Shahid Khan, I fire this clown before the end of the fucking week. I'd have fired his ass yesterday. But to me, this man does not coach another game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. By the way, Meyer just screwed himself. You know, he had that get-out-of-jail-free card waiting for him at USC. USC has basically stated, nope, we're good. We're good. But like I said, if I'm Shahid Khan, this clown does not coach another game. I hit the reset button. I realized this was a terrible mistake. And I go out there and I bring in an actual head coach or even a hotshot coordinator that at least will have enough spine and stones to take accountability. At least whoever they bring in, you know, hey, say whatever you will about Doug Marrone. He may have sucked as a coach the last couple of years, but at least Doug Marrone didn't disgrace the organization off the field. Urban Meyer's done that enough in less than 7-8 months to last a lifetime. He's disgraced this organization more than any coach ever has, and in a shorter period of time. So, like I said, if I'm Khan, kick this clown to the fucking curb. Go out and put whoever is interim for the rest of the year and do an actual search. Bring in an actual football guy that knows the NFL game, that's going to actually have some balls and relate to the locker room, not some egomaniac that ducks from fucking accountability every chance he gets. I don't know who that coach may be. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there. There's enough hotshot coordinators out there. Hell, You want to go the college route? Throw a bunch of money at Dabo Swinney. At least he'll hold accountability. I don't think they should because, again, the college coaching game, different world. But there's somebody out there this team can hire. They got a franchise-level quarterback. They got a pretty damn good running back there in James Robinson. They got a fairly respectable offense. DJ Chark ain't no joke. Now he's hurt, I understand, but he's a damn good wide receiver. Chenault looks like he's got some upside. The pieces are there, guys. Whoever takes over this team has something to work with and build upon. But it's got to be somebody that's actually got some backbone. And by the way, Urban Meyer, thank you very much for turning the Texas job down. I appreciate you claiming headaches and sickness and any other horseshit that you're throwing out there to get out of taking the job and sparing this school the indignity of having to deal with your disgusting bullshit. You know what? Steve Sarkisian may not have been my first, second, or third choice, but I'll tell you what, Steve Sarkisian is the example of a human being who fucked up, took enough accountability, manned up, and changed himself. Urban Meyer never will. So thank you, Urban, for turning the Texas job down. That school's gone through enough crap as it is with the football team. They don't need your bullshit. I'd have rather had Charlie Strong back. I'd have rather had John Malkovich back. Anyway, I'm out of here. Jaguar fans, I'm truly sorry. Just understand it can only get better from here.